If Europe wants to remain an independent and cultural and civilizational centers of international gravity, it needs to maintain a good relationship with Russia. And most importantly, we are ready for that.
Well, we are living in the middle or early 20th century in terms of our mentality and thinking. He's living in the contemporary world. He sees no particular value or payoff to conflict and war. He's right. Russia has benefited in many ways from this conflict. Its economy has grown stronger. It's in a better position than it was when this began, but he's not a fool. War over the long term is too destructive. It harms societies. He wants to get back to some degree of normality. Anyone with any sense needs to understand this. Let me give you a couple of quick examples. In January of 1943, FDR suddenly announced, without having said anything to either the British or the Soviets at the time, that we were demanding unconditional surrender. Churchill, who was by no means a shrinking violet, didn't like it. He said, "You didn't tell me anything about this. This isn't a good idea." And eventually, Stalin also sent a note and said, "We don't want unconditional surrender. That means the war is going to drag on because the Germans won't walk away." He said, "We want to end this with Germany. We want to get back to some sort of normal relationship." Remember, this is January of 43. Stalingrad did not surrender until 2nd of February 1943. Even after it surrendered, then the Germans launched a spectacular counteroffensive, did enormous damage to the Soviets, and the Soviets went on to the strategic defense, which worked very well for them. But there was no guarantee that the Germans would be dumb enough to attack them the way the Ukrainians have. It was not a good idea. In 1943, in the fall, Leahy brought in both Marshall and Arnold. Marshall was chief of staff of the Army. Arnold was the de facto leader of the U.S. Army Air Corps. And he looked at them and said, "Don't you understand? We want to live with the Germans and the Japanese when this war is over." And said, "Stop annihilating all of these people's cities." We were literally bombing the Japanese and the Germans into the Stone Age. He said, "It's got to stop. We need a new air strategy. We need a new strategy, period, to deal with this." Well, at the time, Marshall and Arnold looked at each other. They didn't really understand what Leahy was talking about, but he was making the same point. Today, no one in the West is thinking in those terms. We've adopted this Hitlerian solution to everything. Either you agree with me and do what I want you to do, or we're going to annihilate you. Well, that's insane. We are all living on this planet. Putin is not Joseph Stalin. We need to stop behaving like Hitler. But that's where we're headed right now. Putin is holding out the hope for an end to this thing because he really wants to do business with the West. He would like to do business with us. We're the ones who are being absolutely unconditionally hostile. And there's no reason for it.